Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the LA Life podcast. As you can tell, this week, Pastor Brad will not be doing the podcast, and actually, he will not be doing the podcast all month, but there will be a staff person each week that will be coming to you with a podcast, just a little devotional, a little encouragement for you midweek. So we hope that even though Pastor Brad won't be here this month, as he had mentioned on Sunday, we will still be doing the LA Life podcast, so we hope that you'll continue to tune in on Wednesdays and just get some midweek encouragement. So this week, I have a little devotional for you, and for those of you that don't know me, I am Becca Pritchett, the Communications Director here at LCC. And if you were here for Easter, as you can tell, I inherited the flower wall that we had for our photo booth in my office. So we are here in my office doing the podcast this week, and I want to start in Isaiah 40:13. I'm just going to read, 40:31. I'm going to read that verse to you and then talk a little bit about that this week. So Isaiah 40:31 says, "But those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not become weary. They will walk and not faint." So a couple weeks ago, I actually did the call to worship on Sunday morning, and this was one of the verses that I used for that. I was at a conference a few weeks ago, and there was someone, the guy that was speaking was talking about this verse, and there was actually a lady painting a picture of an eagle flying while we were doing the conference that weekend. They did it as a silent auction as well towards the end, but as we were worshiping and just listening to what he had for us, she was doing this painting of the bald eagle. And so the last day he had talked about this verse here, and he had told us a really cool story that is a myth. And I looked into it, and it's actually not true, but bear with me, even though it's just a myth and there isn't truth to this, it was really cool and very applicable to life. So he had told us a story about bald eagles and that they reach the age of 30, and once they hit 30, they have a difficult decision to make in life. Their beak starts to wither, their talons start to curl in, and they aren't able to eat. And so at that point, at about the age of 30, they can choose to basically just die, or they can retreat up into the mountain and they bang their beak off of a rock and it falls off and breaks, and then they grow a new one. And then once their new beak grows in, they will pick off their talons, and then the new talons will come in and grow, and then they're able to extend their life expectancy another 30 years. So as he's telling us this story, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, and how applicable is that to life? That, life gets hard and we're not able to move forward, or something happens and we feel like we're stuck, and we have the choice to either do the hard thing and keep going or to give up. And so that was kind of the point of his whole theory behind that. And also, he was saying that it takes 150 days for this process to take place. And so the other point was that sometimes when we're stuck and when we have to make that hard decision, it's not that it's a quick fix and just immediately something new happens, that it takes time and that it's a process. And so that really spoke to me that weekend at that conference, just that there's hard things in life. And just for me, the part that really sunk in was just that idea of the process, that I think so often we want a quick fix. We want something quickly to happen, but it takes time. And so here in Isaiah 31, they use the reference to eagles and soaring on wings like eagles. And although that the story is a myth, I researched it and I was disappointed to find out that it was not true, because it was actually really cool. It's not true, but it's a story that I think we can still apply. And so In verse 31, it's just talking about trusting in the Lord and renewing our strength and soaring on wings like eagles, that then we will run and not become weary. We will walk and not faint. And so then, the month of June, we've been doing this series called Why Run? And, when we did the 5K last Saturday, it was such a great metaphor to just that same concept, right? There's the myth about the eagles that things get hard, that it poured rain on us. It was pouring the entire walk that we did, or run for those of the people that ran. And it was hard. It wasn't easy. Our clothes were dripping wet. Our socks were wet. And there's nothing I hate more than walking around in wet socks and tennis shoes. But we continued through it because there was a goal at the end. There was a finish line. And because we were encouraging each other along the way to just keep going. And so I think that, even though the story of the eagles is a myth, we can still look at that story and we can still look at this verse and know that, like it says, those who trust in the Lord. Those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. And so in those moments when life is difficult, when we want to retreat to a mountain, like the myth says about the eagles, and we want to just get away from it, that what we can do is retreat, like they say that the eagles did, but retreat to the Lord, and that He will renew our strength, and that when we trust in Him, and we trust that His plans are good, and we trust that what He has for us is good, that our strength will be renewed. And in that strength from the Lord, we'll be able to soar like the eagles and run and not grow weary and walk and not faint, because of His strength, not because of anything we're doing, not because we run a 5K or, we do the hard things and we push ourselves and we check off all the boxes, but because we trust in the Lord, that the Lord is where our strength comes from, not from all the things that we can do. So I just want to encourage you with that this week. Again, unfortunately, I can't tell you that it's true about the eagles, but I think we can still look at that and apply it to our lives. And just a great reminder this week to put your trust in the Lord, that when things get hard and you have no idea what to do next, maybe it's a sign that you should just retreat. And you should retreat into the arms of Jesus and trust in Him and allow Him to renew your strength and get your strength from Him. So if that's you this week, maybe today is your sign to just spend some time with the Lord today, just trusting in Him and allowing His love and His goodness to give you strength this week. This Sunday, we will actually be starting a new series for the month of June. We will be talking about parables. So Zach Vogel will be doing the first 2 Sundays in July, and then we have Mike Dugan doing the last 2, and they will each of them will be choosing a different parable each week that we will be talking about. So kind of like I told the story about the eagle today, they will be telling the stories that Jesus told in the Bible. So we hope that you can join us on Sunday. We will be here at 9 and 10:30. You can watch us live at 10:30 on our app or website. And we hope that we will see you there. And I hope that you all have a great week.